October 25th. It's like 71 degrees. It's our third day of hunting here in Oklahoma. We're hunting public. We got a long walk in. I think it's about a mile. Richard and JT split off back there as we worked our way in. Headed to a spot where JT and I did a little scouting the other morning. We found a big grove of persimmons, with a bunch of them still in the tree. And it's right up against the backside of a lake with real heavy briars and tight brush you can't even crawl in. So, hunting public here, day 3 in Oklahoma. Got a long way to go to get in here, but hopefully it'll all be worth it. We're getting close. Starting to cover. Gonna loop around this bedding area. Get set up on the one side of these persimmons. I'm all set up here in the persimmon set. I got heavy bedding to my right, really gnarly stuff, hard to get into. My wind is carrying away from that in this direction, towards the lake. It's not perfect if the deer are bedded along the lakeside there, but it's good. We still got a ton of persimmons up in the trees over there. Today's probably the calmest day we've had as far as consistent weather. It's not as windy. I got the scrapes on this pin oak right below me. Scrape over on that pin oak. And then a little bit of rubs over here. We had some rubs over in some of the scrub over there where the persimmons are. So seems like a pretty legit set. We just need a big old Oklahoma buck to show himself. I'm in my trophy line saddle. I got my EDP platform and my mini sticks. It's a great combination to pack in deep like this. Richard's about halfway back to where JT is. He's on a doe mission. And JT found an old spot that looks like a real good spot. A couple days ago, we had a couple cameras set up over there. We pulled the cards and there was a good buck over there. So we'll see. This is a nice tree. I got good cover right in front of me. Break me up pretty good. So I just got set up. I'm up in the tree, everything's situated. Camera's ready, guns ready, everything's good. And now that I'm up here, I like this setup even more. I got a real good shot opportunity to my left. I have a really good shot opportunity in front of me to the oak tree that's just raining oaks right now, and there's tons of sign underneath it. So I'm set up right on the edge of this bedding area with the wind perfect for it. If anything comes in behind me, I put some doe pee out there, it's blowing up. Maybe a buck will come running into that, not paying attention. We're hunting public today. Chad has moved back into the spot where he found a loaded amount of persimmon trees. He's going to be setting up on that if his wind's doing what my wind's doing, though. That'll be tricky. Alright, it's like 5:30. I keep feeling like I hear movement in the brush behind me here. Closer to the lake. I hope that's the case. I hope it's a big old buck trying to work his antlers through there. But we're set up good, man. If they want these persimmons. The sun is starting to get lower, which gives me a little bit of a view inside this brush here. I was glassing it earlier. I can see a little bit of the runs that move through the trails that move to the field, and then these persimmons here. So when JT and I were over there, I found the one run out right to the field. So I'm hoping they stage here to eat some of these persimmons and then head out. I just had 3 doe come
in front of me. The other two veered off that way and worked up. They seemed like they were interested in that acorn tree right up here. But I think they saw me or saw a little movement or something, because they acted a little funky and kept looking over here. If that buck is bedded in there, he's not. When they work through, they're about 80 yards. If he gets up out of there and comes this way, the wind's in my face, it's going to be perfect. Oh, fingers crossed he's in there. It looks like the perfect spot for a deer to be bedded in, so. This is good.
Night number 3. Finally seen a buck. He's somewhere close right here. I'm gonna end up blowing him out of here when I get down, but I can't keep JT and Richard waiting. So, October 26th, I'm in a new set on the ground, doing a little ground and pound today. Richard had a camera over here. JT and I checked it. And there was a whole bunch of daylight activity from like 7 to probably 9:30, and I had 4 or 5 doe real close, like 30, 35 yards, and something up there. I don't know if a hawk came in or someone was out on this power line, but they bumped up the hill and were blowing for like 10 minutes, like 80 yards from me, looking up the power line. I don't know, maybe someone's got a feeder up there and it went off. But they were looking up away from me, doing the foot stop. And then turning all their attention to the power line. I'm afraid to move at this point. I'd like to be back another 30 yards, but you can't really see it because there's a little bluff. Alright, as much as I didn't want to, I made a quick move back 20, 25 yards. After those doe moved off, I was glassing to the left, and as it got a little lighter, I could see it looked like there years, I was pretty close to a pathway that they came in, and there's a pretty good chance where we think these bucks came in, that they were going to cross maybe like no more than 5 yards from me, probably less. So I moved back. I think I did it without a problem. So I think JT said they were on camera at 8:30 yesterday, so it wasn't even 8 o'clock when I made my move. I think it was like 7:40, so I think we should be safe.
Me?
It's 8:30, and I just heard a gun go off down in that valley, down in that creek bottom. And I'm like 99.9% sure that's Chad. That's awesome. That down there, yesterday we had a giant shooter on camera. He's got a little kicker on the side, I mean, just huge, 150 all day long. And that's the buck that Chad wanted to get after, and I think he just shot him. There was also a couple other nice deer in there too. But yesterday that buck was in there at 8:45. It's 8:30. There's a really good chance that he just shot that buck. Oh, that's awesome. Heck yeah.
Okay. So, these two bucks been on the feeder for about 10 minutes, probably more, and I've been filming them. I had a couple shots over there. This is definitely the bigger of the two 8 points, but I kind of wanted to wait because the 10 point was coming in a little later than the other two. But I had a wide open opportunity here at probably, God, if I miss this deer, at 20 yards. But the problem was he circled down and came down right to where I was to go back into this bottom. And he walked right to where I was sitting. And I think he was starting to get a little spooky because I sat there for about an hour, maybe hour and a half. I had my left hand on the camera arm and my right hand on the gun ready to rock and roll. I cocked the gun when he was through the pine, and I think he started to look at me through that pine. and I couldn't take my left hand off. There's no way I could take my left hand off the arm, and as close as he was, not spook him. So I'm gonna give it a few minutes here. Go down there, see if I find hair. Should be. Gotta reload here. And then push down in there and see if I can find him. Here's my first bullet. There he is right there. Looks like a good buck. First Oklahoma buck, man. I'm excited. Looks like a good heavy 8. Probably a 3-year-old. Oh yeah, I definitely got lung. Look at that guy. Thank you, Lord. Good sized buck. First Oklahoma buck. All right, so here he is. My first Oklahoma buck, nice 8-point. Got nice brow tines, decent mass. We know there's a bigger 10-point in here. JT and I and Richard came down and checked his card. You know, this is one thing I got to get used to here in Oklahoma. And a lot of other states, you're allowed to bait these deer. So I was kind of hung up on that, but today I committed to this feeder. I came in. There's a nice 10 and 2 8-points that we had on camera yesterday morning, and I really wanted to hold off for that 10-point. And these guys were starting to feed off, and I think yesterday he was in there with these bucks, so I thought there's a pretty good chance that buck might be with a doe at this point. So very thankful for Richard's invite, his friend here that allowed JT and I to come in here. Thank you for letting us come in here and enjoy your property, enjoy the deer here. Oklahoma is not a disappointment, and but now Richard's got a buck on our week here in Oklahoma. JT's up. We know he won't disappoint. JT's he grinds it out and gets after it. So.
Where are we going right now?
Pick up Chad's deer.
What'd Chad shoot?
Probably a button buck.
That's what I was thinking.
Wrong go.
Jesus.
Sheesh.
All right, so this morning, probably about 8:30ish, my brother and I heard a shot down in the valley, and we just got a text from Chad that bring the cart down. He got a buck, so we just got down here, and I don't see him, but we're walking down right now and see what he got eyes on. But I know there was a big one in here yesterday in daylight. Hopefully it's that one. We'll see here shortly.
That was the bigger of those 2 8-points.
That's nice.
So I set up in the dark. It seems so much further. It gets light, like 25, 30 yards from the feeder, but it was kind of good because that big boulder was blocking. Doe came in right from first light. I don't know if a pig came in or someone came up through, because they blew and like instantly they just like bolted every which direction. And they went up above the feeder and they were staring out up there. So I don't know if someone hunts up there. And then they came across, and I'm like, all right, I'm moving back. That 4-wheeler path, whatever. I'm like, so I moved up on the hill there in the light where I could see. And this one, and that 8-point came in. I videoed him for like 20 minutes feeding, just waiting for that 10-point, waiting for that 10-point. He walks right where I was sitting. I shot him one-handed while I was running the camera. It's like this, at like 25, 30 yards. Can't wait for a minute so I can get under here. I gotta see where I'm at. If we keep that leg from popping out, it's gonna slip. I'm wondering, like,
once we get it,
how about carrying it? To be honest with you.
yeah, I think I'll get it here and I'll help you guys carry it. get past that stuff.
All right, so we're getting ready to, we just pulled into this new spot. I hunted here last year and saw a bunch of buck, and my brother's hunted here a good bit. So the wind right now is out of the northeast, and this piece has the lake at the south side of it. So the piece of public we just hunted before this, we did the same thing, went in, the wind's really strong, so we kind of wind bumped it, put on a couple drives, and had a giant freaking run by, but he did not stop. So I don't know if we had bumped him down in that cove earlier and then we caught back up with him or what, but he, I don't think he saw us, no. But he spooked out of there really quick. We tried making a move on him again and never saw him, but pretty much going to do the same thing here, with the exception this time we're not going to go into wind bump them. We're going to go down, we're going to get completely downwind of them on the lake side, and that's traditionally kind of where they bed. And then we're gonna push in a little bit further and then come up through, there's a good piece of timber there in the middle. It gets a little bit wet, and that's a spot where I did a saddle hunt last year, and had an encounter with a buck, and my brothers ran some trail cameras in there and gotten some nice shooters in there. So we'll push up into there, and we're gonna pull a camera and hopefully see some deer moving. But it's the last day in Oklahoma. It's Friday, and it doesn't make any sense to go back to the house. It is getting a little bit later in the day, and if we're going to go to another spot tonight, we got to make moves. So this will be the last piece of public that we hit before we formalize a plan for tonight. Ready? This spot last year, like I said earlier in the truck, I saddle hunted it, and I think I set it on the ground and had lots of good action. So hopefully, fingers crossed, action picks up and we see some deer. There's also a bunch of hogs in here, so I've never seen so much hog sign as I've seen in this property, so it'd be kind of cool to see a hog. All right, so this right here gets real thick. We're gonna push straight back. So from north to south, get on the back side of this property, that's where the lake is, and that's where we're gonna skirt around. So we're gonna push through here, but this gets real thick, so we may jump something up. So he's running hands-free. My brother's running hands-free right now with the camera. Once we get through here and start coming back up, we'll probably switch to the tripod. But for now, I think we're just gonna push through here and hopefully jump one up, but the wind's blowing in there, so maybe a hog or something like that. But we're just gonna beeline it back to the property, and then we'll circle around. bullets again. We came right up on these hogs. We had them at 25 yards, and it was a scramble with the camera, and I had to have missed that thing because I put it on its head to drop in its tracks.
Let's go look for blood.
Yeah, we'll go look real quick, but it should have dropped right there. All right, the wind's starting to die down just a little bit, so we're having to kind of stop when the wind stops because the leaves are loud. We're getting close to like that bedding area that they like to hang out at. It just ran like 40 yards. I couldn't see if it was a doe or a buck. I don't know where it went. I saw it drop down in that bottom, but I don't see it now. Let's walk over here by this creek.
He dropped, JD.
Shut up.
I see his freaking horns.
You do right now?
Yes. Reload, hurry up. Oh my god, dude.
Dude, he's a big one.
JD.
You seriously saw him drop?
Yeah, I can see his horns moving right now. Get reloaded and get up there. He's dead.
You sure he's down?
I just watched his horns stop moving.
Scoot, I can't handle this right now. Dude, it's been such a grind. Are you serious?
I swear. I see the horns flopping.
Dude.
I don't see him flopping anymore. So he's down.
Dude, I'm shaking so bad I can't reload this rifle.
Take. He's down. I'm telling you, he's down. That's a big buck, too, dude.
Now that I got it reloaded, I lost my primer. Dude, it's been such a grind. Last day.
Let's go.
Are you sure you saw Rack?
saw Rack.
You're not messing with me.
I give him over,
Oh, I see Rack. Dude, I'll freaking take it. Like,
9 point.
not quite as big as I thought he was, but man, this is one of the hardest I freaking this week's been. Where'd I hit him?
Double lung.
Dropped him dead in his tracks.
Yeah, you just
I can't believe that. So I wonder if we bumped the doe, or it was him. So there must be a hot doe in here, but dude, oh my God, Scoot, I'm so excited. You have no idea. This trip. This was a hard-earned buck.
Bye.